Next on CTN News.
It's just time to do a little upkeep.
Bunker Beach getting some improvements and a new water feature in 2015. We'll have details. Plus, a local hunger relief organization marks a big milestone this week. But first,
this is such a good location and is populated with all their residential area, and then you feel safe too.
a new mosque rolling out the welcome mat to the Coon Rapids community. That tops CTN News this Friday, October 10th, 2014. Thanks for joining us. Coon Rapids is drawing Muslims from all over the Twin Cities and even as far away as Mankato.
The city's first mosque opened its doors a year ago, and worshipers are eager to share their message of peace. CTN's Bao Vang recently visited the location and found out why they are glad to finally have a place to call their own.
In a building that once was a bank, Muslims gather on a Friday afternoon for prayer. For a half-hour ceremony, most traveled at least that time, if not more, just to be here. It is the only mosque in the area serving followers of the Ahmadiyya sect.
I came from hospital.
From Minneapolis?
From Minneapolis. I am not the only person. Our president, he came from 110 miles from Mankato all the way.
As with tradition, the men worship in one room while the women pray in another.
It's just a blessing that now we have our own facility that with no fear of we have our own keys. We can just come whenever we want to.
Prior to the Coon Rapids Mosque opening up last October, worshipers first met in homes 26 years ago when the chapter was founded, then in community centers and public libraries, and finally a smaller, less secure rental building in St. Paul.
I did have that feeling. It's just because when people don't know about your religion and how we dress up too, and then it's just something that you just kind of stand out.
Finding a permanent home that offered worshipers peace of mind was a top priority.
So far we don't have any problem. Now we have built up relationship with the local police and also the city council, and we are also having some relationship with our neighbors as well.
Those neighbors, 19-year-old Muslim Adil Ahmad, hopes are willing to learn the real meaning of Islam and dispel the misconceptions.
Islam is about saving lives. It's not about taking away lives. The word Islam means peace.
Bao Vang, CTN News.
The congregation is planning a grand opening in the near future and will invite members of the community to learn more about their faith.
A local organization whose impact is felt globally is celebrating a big milestone this week. The nonprofit Feed My Starving Children packed its 1 billionth meal this week. The Hunger Relief Organization has been around for 27 years and relies heavily on volunteers to pack meals. Those meals are then donated to malnourished children in more than 70 different countries.
Yeah, we have had such excitement from our volunteers. We have a phrase that we say, turn hunger into hope with your own two hands, and people that volunteer for Feed My Starving Children can really feel that sense of accomplishment that they've contributed to the billion meals.
More than 4.2 million volunteers have contributed to the success of Feed My Starving Children. If you'd like to help out, just log on to the group's website.
Some improvements will be made at Bunker Beach before the start of the 2015 season, which will also bring a new water feature. The Anoka County Board's Parks and Community Services Committee recently approved a budget of just over $34,000 for the projects. Several components of the wave pool, which opened in 1988, need to be replaced along with some of the concrete decking. The water park will also be introducing a log rolling camp next summer using a 10-foot long foam log roll.
And what's really nice about it, it's very mobile. We could do it at the wave pool, we can go over to Rocky Bay, we could go to Centerville Beach, and it's pretty low costing too. So it's going to bring a nice new program to Bunker Beach in 2015.
Bunker Beach officials say they will be the first water park in the metro to have the log rolling program. They are also hoping for warmer weather next summer. Attendance was down this summer due to a rainy June and only 2 days above 90 degrees. Renovations at the Coon Rapids Dam are nearly complete. Crews are currently working to finish replacement of the final gates on the Hennepin County side of the Mississippi River. Last year, the DNR installed 5 new gates on the Anoka County side of the river. The walkway remains closed until the work is completed later on this fall. State officials hope the new gate system will be a better barrier to invasive species like the Asian carp. We're now less than 1 month away from the general election.
And candidates continue to get out the vote. On Tuesday, Mary T. Incorporated hosted a candidate forum with State House candidates for people with disabilities, their families, and their caregivers. It was an opportunity to ask questions regarding candidate plans to create policies that support Minnesotans with disabilities living more independently in the community.
And we just want to make sure that community members realize that there are a lot of great resources they have access to in getting to the polls, in getting assistance from election judges at polling places, so they can feel comfortable going to the polling place and casting their ballots on Election Day.
A representative from the Secretary of State's office was also on hand to demonstrate how to vote. Volunteers also assisted with voter registration and looking up polling locations.
If elected on November 4th, which committees would you seek to serve on? Why? And how do these committees' responsibilities mesh with concerns of your citizens and city officials?
Candidates running for 3 state House seats also squared off in a candidate forum on Wednesday night. The forum, sponsored by the North Metro Mayors Association, featured candidates in districts 36A, 36B, and 37A. If you missed the forum, we will be playing it back in its entirety in the coming weeks over on CTN Government Channel 16.
We are happy to report that CTN received 6 national honors from the National Association of Telecommunications Officers and Advisors late last week. Our station took home the 2nd place award for programming excellence. Sports Night received 2nd place in the category of sports programming. Our Who We Are promo video won a 2nd place award in the municipal channel promotion category. This program, CTN News, placed 3rd in the news series category. Coverage of last year's Blaine at Coon Rapids football game took home a 3rd place award in the live sports events category. And the program, City Connections, received an honorable mention award in the community awareness category. Yay!
Pretty cool.
It's time for a quick break.
But coming up, firefighters show off their dance moves for Fire Prevention Week. Plus, a member of the Olympic Committee makes a stop in Blaine as the curling club looks to become an official training site for the 2018 Winter Olympics.
I wouldn't even think I was going to go flying again, but here I am sitting in the airplane.
And a reunion at the Anoka County Airport, several decades in the making. That story is next.
Nearly 70 years after the war ended, veterans in declining numbers got a chance to return to the air in a familiar way last weekend.
For the 44th time, World War II glider pilots and crew members from around the country gathered for a reunion. This year's reunion was in the metro area for possibly the last time, with a special trip to the Anoka County Airport in Blaine. CTN's Joe Nelson went along for the ride.
Most of the missions were gas, fuels, resupply for Patton's Army.
Nearly 70 years removed from the Second World War, the men who served from above traveled thousands of miles to see familiar faces. Of 6,000 glider pilots in the war, less than 200 remain, and 20 made their way to the Anoka County Blaine Airport last Saturday as part of their 44th annual reunion.
This is something that won't happen again in my lifetime, to have this many in one spot. Their reunion takes place at different locations around the country. So we're very pleased and happy to have them here.
Meeting at the Golden Wings Museum, it's a unique chance for these men in their 80s and 90s to share stories and see the planes they knew well.
They understand them when you talk. I mean, when you get into the conversation, you can understand each other.
Then you develop new friends that you hope to see in the next reunion.
One high point was a ride through the clouds in a Lockheed Lodestar.
I wouldn't even think I was going to go flying again, but here I am sitting in the airplane.
The Lockheed Lodestar was part of World War II as a transport cargo airplane. It would tow the gliders into combat area one at a time.
These veterans from Arizona, California, and Minnesota know there won't be many more reunions to come.
It's true. I'm 92 years old.
I had 3 other good friends, and the 4 of us enjoyed these reunions, and I only have me now.
With many dark and bright days behind them, this one made them smile.
Flight was just beautiful.
Brings back old times.
Sure. Nice to have you aboard.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome, sir.
That'll be a memory now.
Well, that's good.
The Golden Wings Museum is a private collection of about 30 planes from the 1920s and 30s. Next year, the reunion is scheduled to be held in Memphis, Tennessee. Steve and Karen.
Great opportunity for them to reminisce. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
The Four Seasons Curling Club in Blaine is hoping to become an official training site for the 2018 Winter Olympics. Last Saturday, the club hosted some special visitors, including a member of the Olympic Committee. Alicia McConnell toured the facility along with public officials and others who offered their support to make the Four Seasons Curling Club an official training site for the Olympic curling team.
This is a key part of the dreams of the Olympic Committee, is to foster all the dreams of potential athletes by working with the community. So when Alicia was able to speak with some of the members of the community, she got even more interested and excited about our facility.
After the tour, Olympian John Benton and Anoka County Attorney Tony Palumbo joined Alicia McConnell for a Q&A, and McConnell will report back to the Olympic Committee. A decision will likely be made in the next few weeks.
Coon Rapids firefighters paid a visit to local elementary schools this week with important safety messages.
Now Mason, he is our smoke. He's going to walk into our beam.
Ready?
And that's going to...
Now walk in, there he is.
And that sets off our smoke detector.
It is Fire Prevention Week, and as they do every year, firefighters visited every elementary school in the city. This year's theme is Working Smoke Detectors Save Lives. The younger students practiced stop, drop, and roll and were treated to a puppet show. Meanwhile, the 4th and 5th graders competed against one another in a game show which featured questions about home smoke alarms. The game ended in a tie at Adams Elementary, so they went to a turnout gear race, which also ended in a tie. The firefighters also showed off their dance moves. We'll show you more a little later in this newscast. A reminder, all 3 fire stations will be hosting an open house tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon. Along with tours, Station 1 will have kitchen fire demonstrations, Station 2 will have rollover simulator demonstrations, and Station 3 will have fire extinguisher training, along with a medical helicopter.
The Coon Rapids Community Players Club kicks off its fall production tonight. The show is called The Producers. It's a hilarious musical written by comedic legend Mel Brooks. The production is being staged in the Coon Rapids Civic Center Friday at 7:30 and Saturday at 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. through October 25th. Tickets can be purchased at the door. For more information or to purchase tickets in advance, log on to CoonRapidsCommunityPlayers.com.
A new legal drama is playing out at the box office this weekend. Howie Shapiro has a preview of that and more in this week's Now Showing.
Stake of your career and you just happen to run him over?
Forensics found traces of blood on your dad's car.
I sat on the bench in that courtroom for 42 years.
This was an accident, period. The judge. Big city lawyer Hank Palmer returns to his childhood home where his father, the town's judge, is suspected of murder. Hank sets out to discover the truth and along the way, reconnects with his estranged family.
You're a shined-up wooden nickel, Mr. Palmer. I'm going to impale your client on a first-degree murder charge, and you get a front row seat.
My father's a lot of unpleasant things, and murder is not one of them.
The Sultan is preparing for battle and requires 1,000 boys for his army, including your son.
Dracula Untold. Facing threats to his kingdom and his family, Vlad Tepes makes a deal with dangerous supernatural forces while trying to avoid succumbing to the darkness himself.
Do you think you are alive because you can fight? You are alive because of what I did to save you!
Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day follows the exploits of an 11-year-old Alexander as he experiences the most terrible, horrible day of his young life. And Addicted, a gallerist risks her family and flourishing career when she enters into an affair with a talented painter and slowly loses control of her life. I'm Howie Shapiro, and that's what's showing.
Thank you, Howie. Quite a variety this week.
All right, we're going to leave you today with more of the firefighters dancing as Fire Prevention Week. Thanks for watching.